Yes, please. You come in the front row. Girls may come in the front row. This side or that side, wherever you like. You may also come second row on this side. Yes, Mr. Aftab Alam Ansari. Mr. Ayush Saxena. Mr. Arjun Singh. Arjun. Shubham Soni. Shubham, you are with psychology? Your honors was in psychology? आपका एकेडमिक बीटेक है. रिवर को कभी डॉट से दिखाते हैं. सिटी इज फॉर डॉट, डॉट इज फॉर सिटी. लेकिन आपने अगर डॉट लगा दिया कहीं, गंगा यहाँ से वहाँ तक है, किसी जगह बनारस पे डॉट लगा दिया, तो नंबर कोई भी नहीं देगा. इसलिए वो लाइन बनानी होती है, उसका जो रिवर का चैनल है कहाँ से कहाँ जा रही है वो दिखाना चाहिए. ख्याल रखना इसका. मिस्टर प्रतीक. मिस्टर अमन लाखा. सुदीप. मिस्टर विकास गुलहिया. परिसा. कोई रिवर ऐसा है जो समंदर में मिलके भी बहता रहता हो? एक स्टूडेंट था हिंदी मीडियम का, उसने गंगा को दिखाया पर्थ ऑस्ट्रेलिया तक. जो लाइन बनाई है आफ्टर बे ऑफ बंगाल, ही कंटिन्यूड इट अप टू पर्थ. मैंने कहा भाई ये वहां तक क्यों? तो कहता है कि साहब, गंगा का पानी भारत ही के नहीं, ऑस्ट्रेलियन के पापियों के भी पाप धोता है. पर्थ जो है वो कोस्ट पर है. उन दिनों वहां पर्थ में कुछ हो गया था, गड़बड़ था. तो साहब जब आपकी ये अप्रोच है, मैंने कहा आप ज्योग्राफी ना लीजिए. रिवर तो वंस इट मर्जेस इनटू द सी और ओशन, दैट इज फिनिश्ड. वही तक दिखाना चाहिए. ये मैंने मार्क किया है. प्लीज डोंट शो इट इनटू द बे ऑफ बंगाल. परिसा. मुस्कान शर्मा. कीर्ति. नेक्स्ट एंट्रीज. Important lakes of India. Important lakes. Asthamuddin, Kerala. Bhimtal, Kumayu, just northeast of Nainital. Bhoj. Where is Bhoj? Near Bhopal. Chandratal, Himachal Pradesh. This has been asked in the examination. Dal Lake, Srinagar, Kashmir. Dhibar Lake. Now, earlier it was known as Jaisamand, near Udaipur, Rajasthan. Khajiyar Lake. Near Chamba Dalhousie in Himachal Pradesh. Koleru Lake. Next one is Loktak. Koleru is important. Loktak in Manipur. Imphal city is on the bank of this. Loktak. This has been asked. Then Nakki Lake. Nakki. Near Mount Abu. Nal Sarovar, Gujarat. Narayan Sarovar, Gujarat. Pangong Taso. It is in the news these days. Partly it is in Ladakh, partly it is in Tibet. It is just like this. Partly this is Tibet, this is Ladakh. Next one, Pulicat in Tamil Nadu. Then Renuka, 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 Himachal Pradesh. Roop Kund, Uttarakhand. Sambhar Lake, north of Jaipur, Rajasthan. Taso Murari. Taso means lake in Tibetan language. Taso Murari, Ladakh. Vembnad, Vembnad. Wooler. The biggest freshwater lake of India. Salt Lake near Kolkata. Then Purushram Kund in Arunachal Pradesh. And Bada Pani in Meghalaya. Bada Pani is an artificial lake between Guwahati and Shillong. It is on the way. This is map exercise, and now try a few questions for your. This is map exercise, and now try a few questions for your general studies or PT. Question number 1. The sun's rays do not fall vertical on any day. In which of the following cities? colon A Ahmedabad, B Bhopal, C Bokaro, D Ranchi. Ranchi. Your answer is Bokaro. Any other answer? How to determine that sun's rays will not be falling vertical in a city? Yes, any city which is south of Tropic of Cancer can have the sun's rays vertical. Any city north of the Tropic of Cancer will not be having the sun's rays vertical. So Bokaro is the correct answer. All the remaining three are south of the Tropic of Cancer. Next question. Consider the following statements. And select the correct answer using the code given below. Statement number 1. Mount Everest lies to the north of Delhi. Kargil lies to the south of Leh. Code. Only one is correct. B. Only two is correct. C. Both are correct. D. Both are incorrect. Pardon? B means D. None of them is correct. So this is a very good answer. None of the two is correct. Delhi in latitudes lies to the north of Everest. If you see the latitude of Delhi and the latitude of Everest, Everest is having lower latitude. So Delhi is in the north. And Kargil is also in the north when you compare with Leh. Next question. Which one of the following is known as the optimum biome? Code A. Boreal biome. Boreal, B-O-R-E-A-L. Boreal biome. B. Equatorial biome. C. Monsoon biome. D. Savanna biome. Which the ecologist says the optimum biome? Optimum means where the sustainability of ecosystem is highest, where the ecosystems are more sustainable, that is optimum. So equatorial is the correct answer. Next question. The density of forest is highest in the equatorial biome. Second statement. The soil of the equatorial biome is highly fertile. Code. Only one is correct. B. Only two is correct. C. Both are correct. D. None of the two is correct. A is correct. Yes, the soil is not fertile. And one or two questions more, short questions. The highest annual range of temperature, the highest annual range of temperature is recorded in the city of A. Azizia, Libya. Azizia. B. Tehran. C. Moscow. D. Verkhoyansk. Verkhoyansk. Uttam, what is your answer? A. Azizia. Write another question also. Then I will give the answer of both the questions. The highest diurnal range of temperature, the highest daily diurnal range of temperature is recorded in colon A. Amritsar. Amritsar. B. Agra. C. Chandigarh. D. Delhi. Now give the answer. First question, somebody gave Verkhoyansk. Any other answer? Highest annual range of temperature means the difference in the temperature of July and January. That is known as the annual range of temperature. All the cities are from northern hemisphere. In northern hemisphere, the geographers agreed that July will be taken as the hottest and January as the coldest. Though there are variations from place to place. In Delhi, May is the highest. I gave the example in Guwahati, March is the highest. But the standard has been done by the geographers that July in northern hemisphere will be taken as the hottest month and January as the coldest month after 6 months. So the first question was about 4 cities. One was Azizia, Tehran, Moscow and Verkhoyansk. One answer came Azizia, another Verkhoyansk. Which of the two seems to be more correct answer? Verkhoyansk is the correct answer. Why? July temperature about 10 degrees Celsius. January temperature minus 50. The difference is 60 degrees Celsius. The difference in the temperature of January and July is 60 degree. This is the highest. So the annual range of temperature is recorded highest away from the equator. This point you can note down. The highest annual range of temperature, is recorded away from the equator. If there are 4 cities, see which is in the north. provided it is not having a coastal location. That is a condition. If the city is along the coast, then annual range will be less because of the effect or influence of water. So Varkhoi answer is in the interior, away from the Pacific Ocean. The highest annual range of temperature in the northern hemisphere is recorded in Varkhoi answer. And the second question I just dictated you to make the difference between the annual range and the daily range. Out of the four, I gave you four cities: Amritsar, Agra, Chandigarh and Delhi. All are in this area. Which you feel is having the highest daily range of temperature? For such a question, try to find a place which is a desert or semi-desert. Agra is almost a semi-desert. The highest diurnal range of temperature out of the following is in Agra. Day will be very hot, night will be very cool. Had there been Jodhpur, it was the obvious answer. If Azizia, obvious answer. Because in Azizia, Sahara Desert, in Libya, sometime the temperature in the daytime is 58 degrees Celsius. Day temperature. This is the highest temperature ever recorded. It is in Azizia. Azizia is a city of Libya. And in the night time, the temperature comes down to 25 degrees Celsius. The people shiver. In the day, they cannot come out. All the markets are closed. Daytime. Night time is the time to work. उल्लू की तरह हैं. रात में काम करते, दिन में सोते हैं. So the high daily, so far as the daily range of temperature is concerned, the maximum is in the desert. Now you see which city is lying in the desert or close to the desert. That is a clue for you. Note down a sentence. The highest diurnal range of temperature, the highest diurnal range of temperature is recorded in a desert. But you see, desert is Sahara Desert, Thar Desert, there may be Gobi Desert. The tropical deserts have the highest diurnal range of temperature. Tropical, hot deserts. And last question for today. The shortest twilight ट्विलाइट कहते हैं लाइट बिफोर द सनराइज और आफ्टर द सनसेट, जिसको संध्या लाली या भोर की लाली कहते हैं. हिंदी मीडियम के दो एक बच्चे हैं. द शॉर्टेस्ट पीरियड ऑफ ट्वाइलाइट इज इन विच ऑफ द फॉलोइंग सिटीज? बेंगलोर, मुंबई, नागपुर, सूरत. One answer is Bangalore, one is Nagpur, one is Surat. There are three answers. And Uttam, what is your answer? No idea. It is close to the sea. So, what is actually the parameter in your mind to decide Bombay? Yes. Right. You are taking the criteria of height. So the answer should be away from the equator. Any place which is closer to the equator, the rotation will be like this. The twilight period will be shortest. So out of the four, Bangalore is in the south. The answer is correct. Note down this point also. Any place closer to the equator, any place closer to the equator has the shortest duration of twilight. As you go away from the equator, the twilight period is more. So in Delhi these days, the sun is setting around 7:20, 7:25. But for about 1 hour, you will have some light. Even without electricity, you can read the newspaper. But in equator, it is not possible. Either it is bright sunshine within 20 minutes, this complete darkness. If you go to Trivandrum or Kanyakumari, either it is day or suddenly there is night, because that is closer to the equator. The principle is closer to the equator, shorter the period of twilight. These are basics, you have to apply this. Let me share with you one experience. Once I was participating in a conference in Aberdeen. Aberdeen is here, northern part of Scotland on the coast. It was the month of July. Believe it or not, the sun was rising at 3 a.m. and sun was setting at 11 p.m. See the duration of the bright period of the day. Morning begins, or sun was visible at 3 a.m. and up to 11 p.m. there was sun, and there were only 4 hours. अर्जेंसी है. मैं समझा घर से कोई मैसेज. आजकल घर में बड़ी प्रॉब्लम चल रही है. टीचर के घर में प्रॉब्लम है या कुछ हो, उसको परफॉर्म करना होता है. द मोस्ट इजी जॉब इज द टीचिंग जॉब. If you are teaching in a university, means never take a class, nobody can force you. The salary will be going to the bank. है अभी और आप देखिए, आप ठीक है. इससे ज्यादा नहीं हो सकता. भाई इसे पहले सेट कर लिया कि जी मुझे बता दीजिए मैं खड़ा कहाँ हूँ. I was telling you that teaching is the most easy profession if you are teaching in a degree college or in a university, because there you don't have to take the class. Enjoy, take a cup of tea, gossip, discuss politics or what is going on around and leave. Nobody can force you to take the class. And if somebody is serious student like you, meet the teacher. Sir, बहुत दिनों से क्लास नहीं लिया. अगर रिमाइंड कराए वो भी कोई स्टूडेंट, तो कहेंगे पास नहीं होना है क्या, तो चुपचाप चला जाएगा. क्योंकि टीचर दे आर वेरी विंडिक्टिव. अगर किसी ने कह दिया कि आप पढ़ा नहीं रहे हैं, तो समझिए कि आपके प्रैक्टिकल में नंबर कम आने ही है. आपकी स्मार्टनेस आपको धोखा यानी नुकसान पहुंचा देगी. मैं रोटेशन में हेडशिप है, आई वॉज आल्सो हेड ऑफ द डिपार्टमेंट. When the next person became head of the department, तो कोई क्लास ही नहीं लेता था. मैंने उनसे पूछा, भाई सब चाय पीते रहते हैं आपके पास, इनसे कभी क्लास के लिए भी कहिए. कहले साहब कैसे कहूँ, जब तक आप हेड थे मैं कभी नहीं पढ़ाया, जब मैं खुद नहीं पढ़ाया तो दूसरों से कैसे कहूँ। इतना एक दूसरे का ख्याल रखते हैं कि वहाँ पढ़ाने की कोई जरूरत नहीं। बट इफ यू आर टीचिंग इन ए कोचिंग सेंटर देन इट इज ए टोटली डिफरेंट स्टोरी. There may be some problem in the house, you have to come to the class. And taking a class in the coaching center, if the teacher is serious, then it is a very tough job. मैं बहुत सारे प्रोफेसर्स को जाऊँ, एक एक लेक्चर दे के भाग गए। साहब यहाँ तो इतनी तरह का कोर्स पढ़ाना होता है। Sometime teaching oceanography, sometime climatology, geomorphology, then population geography, after that environmental and biogeography, geographical thought, population, settlement, models and theory. There are so many papers, only one person, how it can be taught? Because for 30 years, 36 years I was teaching only agricultural geography. My specialization is agriculture. And in agriculture also I produce a PhD thesis on dairy farming of Haryana. So how I can teach geomorphology? मैं तो दूध दही का एक्सपर्ट हूँ, डेयरी फार्मिंग की है 36 साल से, और साल भर वही दूध दही करता रहता हूँ। आई डोंट नो व्हाट इज दिस रिवर कैप्चर और व्हाट इज एक्चुअली द एनुअल रेंज और डेली रेंज, लेकिन कोचिंग सेंटर में पढ़ाना बहुत मुश्किल काम है, दो वजह से। नंबर वन, योर बैकग्राउंड इज नॉट ज्योग्राफी बैकग्राउंड. Exceptions may be one or two students with geography honors. So first, with a background of science or engineering, how to adjust? It is a problem for the teacher. Secondly, the teacher is not having practical marks. He cannot ask you, do you want to pass or not? So it is a tough job. When this fellow came, I thought there's some problem in my house. I was shocked because some problem is going on. But the teacher is supposed to be here, and you will observe it that regularly I am in time, at least 20-30 minutes before, though sometimes some guardians come and delay me by 5 minutes or so, but punctuality is there. In coaching one has to maintain the punctuality. Secondly, there should be a commitment to clear the concept of the students, and that needs a lot of dedication. This is. So I was telling, once I was participating in one international conference at Aberdeen, and it was the month of July, this time. So the sun was rising at 3 a.m. and setting at 11 p.m. So some friends used to talk, by in the evening meet at such and such place, जैसे कहें कनॉट प्लेस में मिल लीजिए, रीगल बिल्डिंग आ जाइए, we can pass the time, enjoy the evening. तो जब वहाँ कहें कि मीट मी इन द इवनिंग मीन्स 6 or 7 or 8, बट द सन इज शाइनिंग, सो यू कॉल इट ए डे और ए इवनिंग और ए नाइट. एंड एट 11 p.m. was the sunset. Sun was visible up to 12, up to 11, and when we used to return in our room in the hotel, you switch the light off and you can read the newspaper. This was the twilight, जिसको संध्या लाली कहते हैं. It means there was only light throughout 24 hours. And you put the thick curtains, make artificial night and you can sleep. अगर आपने thick curtains नहीं तो आप सो ही नहीं सकते. So it is far away. It is about 60 degree north. At 6, Aberdeen is very north. At 60 degree north, the duration of bright period of the day in the summer season is about 20 hours. In the month of January, the bright period of the day is only 4 hours. Rest is night. You have to put the light on throughout. So the simple principle is, if the question is on twilight, closer to the equator, shorter the twilight. Away from the equator, the Sandhya Lali or Bhor Lali will be longer. These are some basic points which I tried to give. But now come to climatology. when we dispersed on Saturday, I started the horizontal distribution of temperature, or the factors which control the distribution or horizontal distribution of temperature. Technically, that is known as determinants of temperature. The average temperature of the earth as a whole is about 14 degrees Celsius. But there are many areas which are very hot and many areas which are very cold. This is the average picture. We were talking about Verkhoyansk minus 50 degrees Celsius, Azizia 58 degrees Celsius in the daytime. So if you take the average picture, the average temperature of the Earth's surface is about 14 degrees Celsius, and the experts are saying it is increasing because of addition of more carbon dioxide gas or human effect. But the factors which decide the distribution of temperature, 2-3 points I explained you yesterday. Number one is latitude. Any area which is closer to the equator, the sun's rays are vertical. The insolation is more. Consequently, in the tropical region, more heat is recorded, more temperature is recorded. Opposite to this, any place away from the equator records relatively less temperature. Polar areas are very cold. Arctic Ocean, frozen. The temperature is minus. Even in the summer season, the temperature is around 0 or minus. So, on your own geographical knowledge, you can write 2-3 sentences without. The tropical zone receives more insolation, more heat. That's why higher temperature are recorded in lower latitude or along the equator or in the neighboring areas. Polar areas are the areas of frigid zone where the temperature is low. You yourself manage, don't go by the NCERT book or by any bulky book you are consulting. Because if there is a question, at the most it will be 20 marks. And there are several points to be discussed. So, make simple 2-3 sentences. This I explained in some more detail and gave you the example that Singapore, which is on equator, is recording more temperature. Delhi, which is away from it, is recording relatively less temperature, average temperature. The second determinant is altitude. Altitude means height above the sea level. What is the difference between height and altitude? These are two different concepts. We never say that Everest is 8.8 kilometer. We say it is the altitude. We never use the word height. The height of the Mount Everest is 8.8 kilometer. We say the altitude of the Mount Everest is 8.8 kilometer. It means it is 8.8 kilometer from a point of reference, Chennai. Chennai is the sea level or the base level for India. Mount Everest is 8.8 kilometer from Chennai. This is. But height of this building, that is point of reference may be this road. We say this building is about 60 feet in height. This height is not from sea level. This height is from the road. So this is the basic difference between. In general, lower the altitude, more is the temperature. Higher the altitude, less is the temperature. This general principle you can address in this point. Any place which is closer to the sea, the temperature will be more. On the same latitude, any place which is having much higher altitude will be colder. Because there is a decrease in the temperature we have seen in previous lecture known as lapse rate. The lapse rate is 6.4 degrees Celsius. As you go up into the atmosphere, the temperature decreases. Normally at the rate of 6.4 degrees Celsius per kilometer or per 1000 meter. And I gave a simple example of Singapore and Kyoto. Both the cities are on equator. One is close to the sea level, Singapore. Another is at a height of about 8,000 feet above the sea level, slightly less than 3,000 meter. So here the temperature may be around 27 to 30 or 25 to 27 degrees Celsius at Singapore throughout as average in each month. But at Kyoto, this temperature is only 14 degrees Celsius. Though it is on equator, it shows there is a effect of the altitude. Higher you are staying in a city, less will be the temperature. That's why Mount Everest, Kanchenjunga, Nanga Parvat, Nanda Devi are covered with ice throughout the year. You can add if there is a requirement of more words. Don't memorize the book. Give your own example. The question is very easy. The third is continentality or distance from the sea. Any place closer to the sea has almost same temperature throughout the year. It means the difference in the temperature of July and January is not much, because the influence of water. Water becomes warm after a long period of time. And if it is warm, it will not be cool very quickly. Opposite is the case with land, solid. Land becomes warm very quickly and cool also very quickly through the process of radiation. I was saying that Azizia records about 50 plus temperature in the daytime. Night temperature is 25 after 12 hours. Because the properties, physical properties of land, solid, are different from water. Water has some advantages. If there is more heat on the surface of the ocean or water, it may pass the heat downward, because that is liquid. Land is not having this quality. The heat cannot be passed more than 1 meter downward. On the land, the heat can be passed only up to 1 meter. Secondly, if there is more heat on the water body, there will be evaporation. The latent heat will go with water vapor into the atmosphere. Land is not having this quality. Water is missing. And third, if there is actually further increase in temperature, the water may start moving westward or in any direction, known as ocean currents. So water is having different properties and land is. So any place which is close to the sea has mild temperatures, and the annual range of temperature is low. But any place which is away from the sea, there is no influence of water, have extreme climate. Summers are very hot and winters are very cold. You can cite the example of Amritsar. Amritsar record very high temperature in May, June, and very low temperature in January. The January average of Amritsar may be less than 10 degrees Celsius. In the night time of January, Amritsar may be recording freezing temperature 0 degree. It is because there is no effect of seawater. And I explained you there is a city Tashkent, if you remember. In the month of July, Tashkent, the daytime temperature known as the mean maximum temperature is plus 40. And the January's mean minimum temperature, night temperature is minus 40. That is a very extreme case of continentality. Because Tashkent is far away from the Indian Ocean. Tashkent is far away from the Pacific Ocean, from the Atlantic Ocean, as well as from the Arctic Ocean. Not only it is far away from the oceans, it is bounded by mountains on all sides. There is no chance of having any influence of seawater. That is almost a desert area, but the continentality is very high. In January, in the daytime also, the temperature is very low. So these points I covered day before yesterday, but there are, I think, some students who are new. I repeated these points for their sake. Now pass on. What is the fourth one? Cloud cover. Yes, please. Average this year. What is your source? नहीं, किस किताब से पढ़ा है? डाउनलोड किया है? वो रिलायबल नहीं है. We never take 1 year's average. We take 30 years average. And all the climatologists experts in all the books published by the foreign authors, they are saying 14 degree. Your examiners will go by 14 degree. NCRT को मैं रिलायबल मानता नहीं. क्यों? In our community, in our country, there is enough strong nepotism. मुझे पता है जिन्होंने वो किताबें लिखी हैं. By chance, don't take it as personal. The convener of geography section was a Pandit, Mishra ji, R.P. Mishra. I can tell you the name also. He picked up only the Mishras or Sharmas. None of them was a Verma. And the question you may raise, what is a Verma? Verma means one who is not Sharma. So simple to define. I know some people came to me in Delhi and asked, I have been assigned human geography to be written for the +2 program, and basically I am a man of geomorphology. So I am going to copy your book. He is a friend of mine. We should go for physical geography instead of writing human geography. कहेंगे कि नहीं, ऊपर से ऑर्डर है. कहेंगे तो गुरुजी नाराज हो जाएंगे. And the person who was a man of geomorphology and did work, useful work on glaciers of Himalayas, उसको इकोनॉमिक ज्योग्राफी अलॉट कर दी. सो ये बंदर बंटवार में बहुत सा नुकसान हुआ है, बहुत सारी मिस्टेक. पहले एडिशन में बहुत मिस्टेक्स थी, अब भी उसको इम्प्रूव कर रहे हैं, अब भी उसमें मिस्टेक्स हैं. So your question will not, PT question will not be framed on the basis of NCRT. Try to consult some foreign sources. And I can give you as a point of caution, every day you will be reading something in the newspaper, in the magazines, about the population, about so many things. Never base your answer on the basis of this data or information. The questions on population of India, demographic attributes of Indian population are framed on the basis of census of India 2011. That is the only reliable document for the government of India. Whatsoever. Again, the next data will come in 2021. Till 2021 comes, only 2011 is relevant in UPSC Dhaulpur House. Rest is not the information. The question is framed and checked with the help of the census. So what is coming every day? In your GS paper you can go. but if it is a question in geography, take about 14 degrees. Stellar or Hamblin or this, what is the Johnston, all of them are saying about 14 degrees Celsius. Anyhow, this question will not be coming, it is memory based. Memory based questions are generally avoided in the PT examination also. So the next determinant is cloud cover. Areas having more cloud cover record relatively less temperature. Note down this sentence. Areas having more cloud cover by the way, how much is the cloud cover on the earth every day? General knowledge. Every day there is some cloud somewhere. If somebody asks you what is the percentage of cloud cover sky every day, and I give you 4 options: 25%, 50%, 60%, and 70%. The average picture is 50% all the time under clouds. But the maximum cloud cover is in the equatorial belt doldrum. Equatorial region is having more clouds. If you see the position of equator, it passes mainly on the ocean body. The temperature is high, there is enough evaporation. This evaporation in the afternoon take the shape of dark clouds. So afternoon in the equatorial region is always cloudy. In the equatorial region there is always torrential rainfall in the afternoon. Morning period is bright sunshine. Afternoon is torrential rain. And night are cool. So what type of weather conditions you record in Delhi in 365 days? That cycle is completed in the equatorial region in 1 day, 24 hours. The seasons in the equatorial region are morning summer season. You cannot sit in the sun, it is so bright. Afternoon heavy rainfall almost every day. Night the temperature falls by 5 or 6 degrees Celsius. And people start shivering. The pygmies have the highest rate of pneumonia in the world. Pneumonia is not a disease of cold region. It is in the equatorial region. Because their resistance is less. And temperature every day, morning is high, night is low. They suffer from pneumonia, cold exposure. This is the scenario. So equatorial region which has more cloud cover is not recording the highest temperature. The temperature is high, but equatorial region is not recording the highest temperature. The highest temperature are recorded along the Tropic of Cancer, where this bright sunshine, where the cloud cover is minimum. Or you can say in all the deserts of the world, the temperature is high. They are on the Tropic of Cancer and Tropic of Capricorn. On the Tropic of Cancer and Tropic of Capricorn, the cloud cover is for the shortest period. It may be only 20 days out of 365 days. In some areas 30 days out of 365 days. In equatorial region, the cloud cover is about 320 days out of 365 days. So now you can understand why Azizia is recording the highest temperature. Not the equatorial region, Singapore or Kyoto or any other place. The highest temperature are recorded where the cloud cover is for a short period. It is the desert areas away from the equator, around 23.5 degrees, especially in the northern hemisphere, because southern hemisphere has more water, the influence there. This is actually the fourth point. And the fifth point is ocean currents. You have seen in oceanography we have two types of ocean currents, warm currents and cold current. The warm current flow from equator towards polar areas and vice versa. The cold current descend from the polar areas towards the equator. So they carry heat and temperature. That's why the Gulf Stream originating from here 20 degree north, it goes towards Norway up to 70 degree north. The temperature is about 2 degrees Celsius here. This you can remember and you can repeat also. Consequently, even up to 70 degree north, the coast or seaports are not frozen. In opposition to this, the Labrador current coming from this side, even at 50 degree north, so low, the seaports are frozen. So they also affect the distribution of temperature. Any place which is closer to the cold water currents will be recording relatively low temperature. Any place which is in the grip or close to the warm water current, they record more temperature. And I recall again, I said on the eastern side of all the oceans, on the eastern side of all the oceans, the temperature is relatively less because they have the cold water current. Here is the California current, Peru current, Canary current, Benguela current, Kurile current, and West Australian current. In the eastern part of each ocean, there is relatively less temperature. These are the 5 very important determinants. But if time permits, you can write 1 or 2 sentences on duration of sunshine. On equator, the day and night are almost equal. You will not find much difference in the duration of night and the day. It is maybe 12.5, it may be 11.5, not much difference. But as you go away from the equator, in the summer season, the bright period of the day is more. In the winter season, the dark period of the day is more. These days, I think the daytime sun is rising at 5:30 and setting about 7:30. In winter, it will be rising at 7:30 and setting at 5:30. We are away from the equator. Go to the north, 66.5 degree north. There will be 24 hours day, bright period in the month of June, and there will be 24 hours night. Polar areas, 6 months day and 6 months night. So when the sun is visible throughout, the reception of insolation is more. And it actually results into the high diurnal range of temperature. The annual range of temperature is affected by the duration of bright period of the day. By the way, in geography, what is a day? How do you define a day in geography? Very simple. What if somebody asks you, you are doing geography, what is a day? Pardon? Yes. One complete rotation of Earth on its axis. And this 24 hours railway timetable, up to 24 hours, 17 hours, 18 hours, 19 hours, 20 hours, 23 hours and 24 hours. This is the geographical day. This geographical day has two parts, bright period and dark period. Bright period for layman is the day and dark period is the night. But a geographer, the definition is given correctly, complete rotation of Earth on its axis, that is 24 hours. In 24 hours, you are at the same point. Now, these are the determinants, and note down a few points. Patterns of horizontal distribution of temperature. Patterns. And I will give only points. Temperature, no, the average temperature decreases from equator towards pole. Point number 2. Extreme low temperatures are recorded in the subarctic region, like Verkhoyansk in the northern hemisphere, Verkhoyansk in the northern hemisphere, and Vostok in the southern hemisphere. Vostok is near South Pole in Antarctica, and this is an observatory of the Russians. The Russian scientists is there. It has almost 6 months dark period and 6 months bright period, but the scientists are there. It is the coldest place on the planet. Next, point number 3. The annual range of temperature is low in the equatorial region. Point number 4. The isotherms on the land make north and south shifts in the month of January and July. I have shown you the horizontal distribution of temperature in the oceans while talking about the distribution of temperature in oceans. But today I will repeat almost the same type of transparency, and some broader idea you can understand from these maps. The picture is not very clear. Here you have these circles. The average temperature in the month of July, I think this is July scenario. July, it is 35 degrees. The highest average temperature in desert is in the month of July is recorded in the deserts, because these are the temperatures where 35 degrees Celsius is the recorded temperature. When you go away both sides, the temperature decreases. And see, equator is not having the highest temperature. In the month of January, the picture changes. Highest temperatures are recorded in the southern hemisphere, in the Simpson Desert of Australia, Kalahari and Namibia Desert, and this is actually east of the Andes Mountains, but this temperature is about 30 degrees. The influence of water is there. More temperature is recorded in the northern hemisphere, and here the cold conditions persist in the northern hemisphere. And this transparency shows the annual range of temperature. If there is a question in the PT examination, this map can guide you. The highest annual range of temperature of 60 degrees Celsius in the Taiga region. Taiga, Verkhoyansk town or city is located in Taiga or boreal forest region, boreal biome. And in this area, northwestern part of North America, the annual range of temperature is 45 degrees Celsius. And 45 is a very high difference in summer and winter. So this, as you are closer to the equator, the annual range of temperature is only 2-3 degrees Celsius. In a equatorial region, the day and night temperature is also the same. Annual range is only 2-3 degrees Celsius. These points can help you in explaining the horizontal distribution of temperature. And I think this much is sufficient so far as the horizontal distribution of temperature is concerned. Now there is another aspect of this topic. Known as albedo. There may be a short note on this technical word, albedo. Actually, albedo is the reflective quality of a surface. Note down the definition of albedo. The proportion of solar radiation, the proportion of solar radiation on a non-luminous body is known as albedo. Is known as albedo. Stop. In brief, it is the reflective quality of a surface. On an next line, on an average, the percentage of albedo is 30%. Continue. The rate of albedo differs from surface to surface. In general, lighter the surface, more is the percentage of albedo. While in the darker surface, while on the darker surface, the rate of albedo is less. By the way, why do you put on light color clothes in the summer season? Because it absorbs less heat. It reflects more heat. In winter season, we go for woolens dark color, black, dark blue, dark red, or any dark color, because dark color absorb more heat. Exceptions are there. If you visit India Gate or visited India Gate in the month of May, when it was scorching high temperature 42 45 degrees Celsius, there were some youths in dark pant and dark shirt, dark goggles. They are unique people. They go there, okay, look at me. ये देखने की चीज है, इसको देखो. Just to attract the attention of other people. ये free cases हैं, unique cases हैं. Normally, normal people put on light color in summer season and dark color in winter season. This is logical, convincing also. लेकिन आज की जनरेशन वो करती रहती है, मैं आपकी तरफ नहीं कह रहा हूँ, कि जो नहीं करना चाहिए. That is against the prevailing weather conditions, climatic conditions. Normally, ladies को देखिए, always in the summer season they go for the light color, in winter season for the dark color. But how the surface affects the rate of albedo, you can note down 5-6 figure. In case this is a short note, I arrange the rate of albedo in a descending order, just to help you. Fresh snow, white, with minimum impurities. The rate of albedo is 80 to 90%. Had any one of you been on a mountain at the time of snowfall? कोई गया है? If there is a snowfall and after that the sun rises, bright sunshine, the rate of albedo is very high. Yes, there is actually color blindness. People have to use black goggles, वरना दिखता नहीं, इतना रिफ्लेक्शन है, अंधा हो जाता आदमी. हमको तो बराबर फेस करना पड़ा. I was teaching in Kashmir University and we had to stay during the snow period also. So the reflection is so high. You can remember this data. The highest is 80 to 90% is the reflection or albedo. In old snow, it is less. It is 50 to 70. Why? This is also snow. Old snow. What is the difference between snow and ice? Snow is fresh. Snow is solidified. When the snow solidifies, and it solidifies within about 6 to 10 hours, there may be some dust particles on it. The color becomes slightly darker. If you are on a glacier anywhere, maybe Pindari or Gomukh glacier, it is not white. It is covered with dust particles, some weathered material. Some wind is bringing and depositing some sand or fine particles on the ice. So the rate of solid ice is old snow is 50 to 70 and cloud 50 to 55. Clouds are also generally dark. Soil light color, sandy soil 25 to 30. Dark concrete metal roads 17 to 27. Green crops 5 to 25. Dark soil like black soil or regular soil 5 to 15. Forest green 5 to 10%. Water only 5 to 8%. And road black top 5 to 7%. You need not to remember all. 5-6 data should be in your mind. You can remember fresh snow and old snow. One like this, green forest, water and road black top. This much is sufficient so far as the data is concerned. I never encourage anybody to remember so much of data. But the general concept should be in your mind. Darker the color, less is the rate of albedo. Lighter the color, more is the rate of albedo. This has never been asked, but it is a part of the topic, so I covered it. So you can cite actually albedo affect the lifestyle of the people. And one example you can cite from the high altitude mountains. where snowfall is very frequent. In the winter season, people not only put on dark clothes, they put on goggles also, just to avoid the adverse effect of reflection or albedo. In the plain areas also, people adjust their clothing according to the rate of albedo. Not only clothing, they adjust their food habits also. When there is more heat, they try to have some more cold vegetarian dishes. In winter season, more non-veg if the people is a non-veg. Perhaps you don't know that. Is there any Kashmiri student in the class? Kashmiri Pandits, they are also Brahmins, but mostly they are non-veg. They celebrate their festival also with non-veg dishes. Shivratri comes somewhere in the month of February, and February is the rainy season there. Very cold winter, but they prepare dishes only of this. Why? Because it is a requirement of the body for these people. Kashmiri Pandits never like, sorry to say, the Pandits of the Devbhumi, or you can say the Devbhumi Pandits never like the Pandits of Kashmir, because Devbhumi Pandits are generally vegetarian. At least apparently they are vegetarian. And Kashmiri Pandits are non-veg. So if there is a daughter from Kashmir, she is non-veg and comes in the house of a vegetarian, there will be a problem in the kitchen, how to adjust. So they try to avoid the relationship. Brahman with Brahman, regions affect. One is the very cold area. Hardwar is relatively warm. Here you have mostly people vegetarian, there you have mostly people non-vegetarian. So it creates a problem. Unless the boy and girl agree, वो अलग बात है कि दोनों consent से हो जाए तो it's all right. Now modern society, they are not worried about their parents. They fix some time to talk on the mobile and go according to their schedule. Parents hardly matter. Anyhow, so you can manage it if there is a short note with some diagram or some data. But the important topic I am going to cover now, that is inversion of temperature. This topic is important, and I think it has been asked in the GS paper also. Inversion of temperature. If it comes in geography, it will be a compulsory 10 marks question. In case it comes in GS, again it will be 10 marks question. And I think last year this question was asked, or year before last. If you check the paper, you will find it has been asked. Note down one sentence. Normally, the temperature decreases while ascending in the troposphere. Stop. The rate of decrease, note, the rate of decrease is about 6.4 degrees Celsius. 6.4 degrees Celsius, 6.4 degrees Celsius per 1000 meters. It is known as the lapse rate. Average lapse rate. Next sentence. if the temperature start rising, while ascending in the troposphere, that is known as inversion of temperature. As given in the following diagram. So after writing these 2-3 sentences, if you want to secure better marks, you should give a diagram showing what is inversion. I am putting on the x-axis the temperature in degrees Celsius. This is 0 degree, 10 degrees Celsius, 20 degrees Celsius. On this side, minus 10 degrees Celsius, minus 20 and minus 30 degrees Celsius. On the left hand side is negative, right hand side is plus. And so here 500 meters. (1,000 meters) and 1,500 meters. When you are drawing a diagram in geography answer book, please graduate x-axis and y-axis. Otherwise, simply not writing anything, the diagram has no significance, no relevance. These graduations bring marks. You have shown that the temperature position is what? Suppose on a given day, the temperature of a place is 10 degree. Normally it is like this. As you go up, the temperature decreases. The rate of decrease of temperature is 6.4 degree per kilometer or per 1,000 meter. This is a normal case. But if going up into the atmosphere, the temperature start rising. This is the reverse. It is known as the inversion of temperature. When the temperature start rising, going up into the troposphere, remember you have to mention the troposphere, not the stratosphere or other layers. When temperature start rising into the troposphere, that is known as the inversion of temperature. This diagram is required to get better marks. And after certain height, and the height may be about 600 meter. Again, the lapse rate you will find the same. It is to be shown like this. This is the area in which inversion of temperature is taking place, because going up, the temperature is increasing. After this diagram, give a heading. Conditions required for the ground inversion of temperature. Number 1. Point wise, because it is a short note, you can explain, but the answer should not be more than 7 minutes, including the diagram. Point number 1. Inversion takes place during the long winter nights. सर्दी की लंबी रातों में inversion होता है. Long winter nights is a required condition because in the long winter nights the radiation is for a longer period. Heat is going back in the night time to the space. So one condition is there should be long winter night. In summer season, you will find less chances of inversion of temperature. So inversion of temperature takes place in the long winter nights. Number 2, the atmosphere should be calm. Or the wind should be blowing at a gentle pace, gentle speed, like less than 1 kilometer or around 1 kilometer per hour. The speed should be. Number 3, the air should be dry. Should be dry. Because if there is more moisture into the air, means there is more heat also in water vapor. So the air should be dry. And what is a dry air? बताइए. What is less? In terms of relative humidity, to which air you will call is less moisture. In the month of January, Delhi is having low relative humidity. If you put the clothes in the sun, it dries up quickly. In rainy season these days, there is more humidity into the atmosphere. It is more moist. So what is moist, what is dry, it is a relative term. But the same concept I will discuss you with the adiabatic change of temperature. That will come later on. From today's point of view, dry air should be persisting in the area where inversion of temperature will take place, because the radiation will be more. If there is heat, the process of radiation will be checked. Number 4, the sky should be blue sky. Blue sky. Blue sky means anticyclonic condition. Anticyclonic. Often you talk cyclone, anticyclone. Chakravat, Parti Chakravat. Cyclone means cloudy weather. For a layman, cyclone is cloudy weather. Chakravat, जब बादल हो वो चक्रवात होता है. When it is blue sky, that is anticyclone. So there should be anticyclonic condition. The sky should be blue sky, means no cloud. And lastly, point number 5, ice covered surface. If there is ice covered surface anywhere, the ground temperature is less. Going up, the temperature is more. Point wise, you can give these 5 points. And if you have the time, which I know you will not be having, you can add one more sentence on all the 5 points, but this will serve the purpose. Then types of inversion, another heading. Yes, please. सूखी हवा, अगर मॉइस्ट हवा है तो आपने वापस भेजना चाहा कुछ, तो वो हीट उसमें है, वो वापस जाएगी नहीं. ड्राई एयर एक्चुअली हैज मोर रेडिएटिव कैपेसिटी. रेडिएशन विल बी मोर इन ए ड्राई एयर एज कंपेयर्ड इन टू द मॉइस्ट एयर. यहाँ एक सवाल मैं आपको बताऊं, पीटी के लिए इंपॉर्टेंट है, नोट डाउन समवेयर. The cloudy days are cooler. The clouds, कहीं नोट कर लीजिए इस पॉइंट को. The cloudy days are cooler and cloudy nights are warmer. Why it is so? If there is a cloud in the night, people without AC in the villages, I know, they feel restless. Sleeping becomes problem, because the heat which is going back, it is checked by the clouds. It remains confined between the surface and the cloud. This area becomes more warm. That's why cloudy nights are warm and cloudy days are cooler. If there is a cloud cover, the heat which is coming from the sun, it is checked by the clouds. So down below the temperature is less. Sometime a question is framed on this sentence also. Cloudy days are cooler, cloudy nights are warmer. And as a student of geography, you know, July temperature is less as compared to May temperature. Why July temperature is less? All over the northern parts of our country or peninsular India, the average July temperature is less when you compare with May, because in May cloud cover is missing. In July there is enough cloud. So this sentence is very relevant to your PT examination. Cloudy days are cooler, cloudy nights are warmer. जो गांव के बच्चे हैं वो जानते हैं कि अगर रात में क्लाउड है आजकल, सो द नाइट विल बी रेस्टलेस. लेकिन आपको एक्सपीरियंस नहीं है, चूँकि आप तो एसी में रहते हैं मोस्टली. जो एसी में नहीं रहते और हम लोग नहीं रहते थे, हमें पता है कि जब व्हेन यूज्ड टू बी क्लाउडी वेदर, नींद नहीं आती थी. इट इज़ high temperature and high humidity condition, very sultry weather this used to be. Anyhow, give the next heading, types of inversion. Number 1, ground inversion of temperature. Number 2, frontal inversion of temperature. High altitude inversion. If it is a short note, mention these 3 types of inversion, because explanation will be difficult. But I will be explaining you number 2, frontal inversion. If there is a warm front and a cold front, sometimes they merge with each other and there develops a warm area above. That is about the origin of temperate cyclone. So sometime in the atmosphere, in the upper part, because of the merging of warm front and cold front, there develops a low pressure area or high temperature in the atmosphere. It is not for today to explain. I will be talking about this in the origin of temperate cyclone in more detail. But in the examination, you should not show your ignorance. Say that there are 3 different types of inversion. One is the ground inversion of temperature. Second is the frontal inversion, and third is the high altitude inversion. If some air is descending down below, that creates a condition of inversion of temperature. But the most important, you can skip these points, you should not skip what I am going to say you now. Social relevance of inversion of temperature. What is the significance of inversion of temperature or social relevance of inversion of temperature? Point wise, number 1, whenever there is inversion, I mean lower part is cool, upper part is warm, this is inversion. Whenever there is inversion, the foggy weather prevails, fog or frost. In summer season, you will not find fog. It is long winter nights when ground becomes more cool and there is inversion. And when it is sudden, there develops a fog. And what is a fog? Fog is a cloud close to the surface. Fog is a cloud. If it is above, that is a cloud. If it is close to the earth, that is known as fog. There may be frost. If the ground temperature is in minus, the ice particles may freeze. In the hilly areas, it is very frequent in the winter season. So one problem to the society comes that it leads to the formation of fog or foggy condition. Number 2, the dense fog affect all means of transportation. The flights are delayed. Flights, take off देर से होता है. The flights are delayed. The trains are late. And there are many accidents on the highways. Because the visibility is poor. और आपकी जो एज ग्रुप के हैं, इनको आहिस्ता से गाड़ी चलानी ही नहीं आती, या ये प्रेस्टीज का मामला होता है, तेज जाएंगे, किसी से मिलना है, रात को भी फॉग है, उसमें जा रहे हैं, तो वहां तो नहीं पाते, कहीं और चले जाते हैं. सो देयर नंबर ऑफ एक्सीडेंट्स इज मैक्सिमम ड्यूरिंग द फॉगी वेदर. नेक्स्ट पॉइंट नंबर 4 और थर्ड नंबर 3 है. नंबर 3, सम ऑफ द सेंसिटिव क्रॉप्स like vegetables, sugar cane, citrus fruits are damaged. The price of these commodities go up. Actually, if there is a frost in any night, chili will disappear from the market. चिली को एक रात का फ्रॉस्ट, पाला जिसको कहते हैं, एक रात में पूरा खेत सूख जाता है. Other vegetables are also damaged. Sugar cane develops a red rod disease. Red rod, वो जो कहते हैं northern India is not suitable for sugar cane cultivation, simply because fog is very frequent in this area. The southern part of our country is more suitable for sugar cane because in South India there is no fog. That's why this question was asked in your GS paper. Northern India is not suitable, but people are doing because it has become a habit. The grandfather started in the 19th century, and the coming generations are doing it. Otherwise, during the medieval history, there was no sugar cane in Northern India. It was largely introduced by the Britons. When they dug the upper Ganga canal, lower Ganga canal, Agra canal, then sugarcane cultivation came in this part of the country. So this is another. Next point. In the Mediterranean region and the temperate countries, people construct their houses or rural settlements above 600 feet. No, you can make about 200 meters from the sea level. 200 meters above the sea level. All the villages where fog is very frequent, the village basti, village settlements are about 200 meters. Because down below or below 200 meters there is fog. If there is a fog, they cannot open their windows. They cannot think of fresh air. Because if they open the window, the fog will enter into the house. And if fog enters, it is a cloud with moisture. The cloth, the bed, all the things will become wet. And sun is not shining. The fog may be staying for 6-7 days. So life becomes problematic, not comfortable. That's why all the settlements are above 600 meters. Go to the Mediterranean Alps or the temperate regions like the Black Mountains of Germany or Scotland. They construct their houses above 600 feet or 200 meters above the sea level. This is it. Los Angeles नो नो, आई एम गिविंग एग्जाम्पल सो दैट यू कैन एड इफ देयर इज अ नीड। ये पॉइंट इतना लिखेंगे आपके पास टाइम नहीं बचेगा, डायग्राम भी देना है। मैं चाहता हूँ 60% मार्क्स आने चाहिए इस क्वेश्चन में, अगर आपको ये क्वेश्चन आए तो। ये नोट्स होते हैं, किताब पढ़िए बहुत कुछ लिख दिया है, लेकिन हमको 7 मिनट में, इन 7 मिनट्स वी हैव टू अर्न 6 मार्क्स, ये मोटो होना चाहिए। इफ यू आर बाय द वे इन लॉस एंजलिस, known as LA, this is the short form, मतलब it is the second biggest city of USA after New York, but throughout the year it is foggy. By the way, why it is foggy throughout the year? Because on the western side is the Californian cold water current. Fog is very dense in this city, and all the people throughout the year they stay inside. They never open their window. फ्रेश एयर लेनी है तो बाहर जाते हैं। हम विंडो क्यों खोलते हैं? कि फ्रेश एयर आएगी, बीमार नहीं होंगे। अब हम तो ऑलरेडी बीमार है, और क्या बीमार होंगे? इंडियंस तो सभी बीमार है, चाहे कोई कह ले कि मैं हेल्दी हूँ। वी आर नॉट हेल्दी पीपल, देयर आर सो मेनी डिफिशियंसी, सो दे डोंट ओपन देयर विंडो सिंपली बिकॉज द फॉग मे एंटर एंड नाइट्स आर वेरी चिली इन लॉस एंजलिस. So these are the points, wherever you go, fog is a problem. And lastly, in the urban areas, especially in million cities and big cities, the fog mixed with smoke takes the shape of smog. There is fog and there is so much burning of fossil fuel in the urban areas. It becomes actually smog. And smoke is injurious to lung disease, breathing problems. So at this point also, in the urban areas or big cities, the inversion of temperature leads to the smoke conditions, which is injurious to health. Many people who are suffering from breathing problem, they may be seriously ill. These are actually the points to be written in a short note. Inversion of temperature. उत्तम ये 100 वर्ड से ज्यादा हो गई या नहीं? एनी आइडिया रफली? ऑलमोस्ट 100 हो गए। इतना ही लिखना चाहिए शॉर्ट नोट के, बिकॉज देयर विल बी 5 शॉर्ट नोट्स. 5 short note, if you are writing these words, the total may be 700 words, and it may take more than 40 minutes. I don't want any question should be given more than 37 minutes. नॉलेज इतनी ही रखिए जो हजम हो जाए, जिसको रिप्रोड्यूस कर लें एग्जाम में. अगर बहुत ज्ञान प्राप्त कर लिया है तो नंबर कम जरूर आने हैं. वी कैन सिक्योर बेटर मार्क्स इफ वी अटेम्प्ट ऑल द क्वेश्चंस. कोई सवाल ऐसा नहीं आता जिसको हम ना कर सकते हो, प्रोवाइडेड यू हैवंट रेड टू मच. ऐसे आपके नोट्स हो तो आसानी से इट विल बी वेरी इजी फॉर यू टू रिप्रोड्यूस in 7-8 minutes in the examination hall with a diagram properly labeled, and this can bring you 60% marks. The next short note again. Energy budget of the atmosphere. Energy budget, energy and heat budget of the atmosphere. If you are tired, I can give you a break for 5 minutes if you like. If you want to continue, there is no harm. I can finish this topic also. क्या राय है? आप सभी अच्छे हैं, धूम्रपान नहीं करते मुझे लगता है. वरना पिछले बैच में कुछ लड़के हाथ उठाते, सर गैप दे दीजिए। मैं जानता था क्या प्रॉब्लम है इनकी। स्टेमिना कैसे बनेगा जब आप धूम्रपान करते रहते हैं? तो ये अच्छी बात है कि यूपी विल आर वेरी डिसिप्लिन, ये बड़ा लाइफ में पे करता है। नाउ अर्थ एंड एटमॉस्फेयर, एनर्जी एंड हीट बजट। Note down a few sentences. Sun is the ultimate source. Sun is the ultimate source of heat and light to the earth, or heat and energy to the earth. %99.999% of the heat is received from the sun. Is there any other source also? This is a fraction somewhere at the third point where that heat comes from inside the earth, but that is insignificant. Sun is the main source of heat and light to the earth's surface. The rate of insolation, comma, albedo and radiation, albedo and radiation are in a balance. Stop. In other words, reception of heat in bracket insolation bracket close is equal to albedo and radiation. Albedo and radiation, Vikaran. In Hindi it is known as Vikaran. The heat budget of the atmosphere has been shown in the following diagram. After writing these lines, give a diagram. I said for a 10 marks question, we should try to insert one diagram to get better marks. Almost 100% heat is coming from the sun. Now 30% is going back as albedo. This is reflected into space, 30%. 20% is absorbed by the gases like clouds and other gases. So 50% is there. And only 50% reaches the Earth's surface. This 50% is touching the ground. Now, once in the daytime this heat comes, in the night it goes back. There are different physical processes which send this 50% also back. That is latent heat, 22%, water vapor, evaporation, moisture going into the atmosphere, that is 22%. Then convective currents or turbulent, it is going 7%, and infrared radiation is 15. and 6% is the direct radiation from the ground. So the total is reception is equal to 50% on the ground, 44% plus 6%, this is the radiation through different processes. So 50% heat is received and 15% is sent back through different physical processes. Somehow you have to mention it. Next sentence. The rate of albedo is 30%. 20% is absorbed. By the gases of the atmosphere. Only 50% touches the Earth's surface. Earth's surface is top. Through the various physical processes like latent heat transfer, transfer by convective currents, infrared radiation, and direct loss to the space. 50% goes back to the space. Thus, the heat budget of the atmosphere is a balanced budget. That is, income is equal to expenditure. Next line. Had the budget been a surplus budget, the earth would have become more warm. Leading to global warming. Under global warming conditions, the snow of Antarctica, Greenland, and all the glaciers of the mountains would have melted, and the sea level would have gone up by 100 meters. Sea level would have gone up by 100 meters. Next line, if the sea level rises by about 100 meters, all the coastal cities of the world would have been submerged underwater. A big economic loss to the society. According to some scientists, under global warming conditions, rate of evaporation would have increased, leading to more stormy weather. Stormy weather and more frequency of tropical cyclones. Stop. The tropical cyclones, Ushna Katibandhiya Chakravat. The tropical cyclones are not human friendly. So, there would have been so many adverse consequences. You see, if the global warming continue and the ice from here melts, and from here also, ice melt from tundra region, this land would have been available for agriculture. At this time, Russia is not self-sufficient in the matter of food. The total population of Russia is less than 14 crore, much smaller than the total population of Uttar Pradesh. Uttar Pradesh has a very large population. Here the population is only 13.5 crore. When Soviet Union got disintegrated, the Russian population was 14 crore. Now it is 13.5 crore. A loss. There is a negative growth of population in Russia. Still they are not sufficient in the matter of food, because winters are very severe. Much area is not available for cultivation. They are importing staple food plus butter plus so many other things they are importing, edibles. But suppose snow melts, more land will be available for cultivation of crops. If not for crop, at least for fodder. Fodder required for the cows. So at least the need of butter and milk products would have been satisfied. So this is one effect. And at this time, for example, Russia is importing rice from the developing countries, wheat from the developing countries including India. They are importing even butter and so many other edibles from India. So the pact, international pact would have been affected. Now they are importing and sending one MiG. I asked this question to a friend from Moscow University. Okay, you are not self-sufficient, your population is so small. So jokingly he said that we import all these things, VIP suitcase, banana, rice, basmati rice, wheat, etc. from India, and we send one MiG, that is sufficient. When one MiG is equal to the total demand of food of those countries. So what I mean, had there been melting of ice, the international trade agreement would have been affected. Perhaps Russia may become as an exporter. Population is not large. If the whole tundra becomes frost free or ice free, they can go for the pastures. They can become the exporter of milk and milk products, if not the cereals. This is the case. And if you have still time, see, had the budget been a surplus budget, the same points you have to write. Surplus budget means less heat coming and more heat going. What is the surplus? Yes. I mean the reception of heat is less and radiation is more. It is a condition of surplus budget. So under surplus budget, the weather and the atmosphere would have become more cool. The ice level, the sea level would have gone down by about 100 meter. Where you have the seaport today, the new seaport, people have to develop about 100 meter below the present sea level. Again a big loss to the society. And if the sea level goes down, there will be less evaporation. Less evaporation means the cyclonic weather schedule will also be disturbed. So there will be enough adverse consequences in both the cases, so far as the society is concerned, so far as the weather conditions are concerned. This was a short note on the heat budget. The next topic is, yes please. Pardon? Yes. No, actually in the daytime they absorb, in the night they send it back. Again next morning they start absorbing. Yes. Now the next topic is the circulation of the atmosphere. Or the laws of atmospheric circulation. It deals about the wind, where the wind blows from where, and what is the direction of movement of wind. So read this topic if it is given in the NCERT book. I don't know whether it is in the NCERT or not, but there are some laws. I asked this question in the test series. Invariably everybody wrote a wrong answer, and these students are having enough experience of appearing in the UPSC examination. Some of them failed 3 times, some of them 2 times, and many of them at least 1 time, and the answer was wrong. They have written only the tricellular model. There are some laws which control the circulation of the atmosphere, and today I will give only the laws. Tomorrow I will explain all these points. The first law of atmospheric circulation, or the forces which are responsible for the circulation of the atmosphere, are 4 or 5. Number 1, gravitational force. The atmosphere is with the earth simply because of gravity. This is 1 or 2 sentences have to be written on the gravitational force. Number 2, pressure gradient force. Pressure gradient force means wind blows from high pressure to low pressure. Tomorrow I will show you the diagram. This is known, this variation in the air pressure. Some areas are having high pressure, others are having low pressure. Wind goes from high pressure towards low pressure. This is also a law of the atmospheric circulation. The third law is the Coriolis force, or deflective force of the earth. This is the third law. The fourth one is frictional force. the frictional force is less on water as compared to land, and the frictional force is less in the upper part of the atmosphere. And lastly, Bayes-Bellot law. These are the 5 laws of atmospheric circulation. किसी एक लड़के ने भी अगर ये सवाल ठीक किया हो, जो समझ में आ लिखा है, ऐसे नहीं होता भाई, रेलेवेंट आंसर दीजिए, हेडिंग ही डाल के छोड़ दीजिए, यू गेट सम मार्क्स. अगर ये 5 पॉइंट ही लिखे, यू गेट सम मार्क्स. लेकिन अगर पूछा कुछ है, लिखा कुछ है, दिस नो चांस ऑफ गेटिंग. वो काट करके ऐसे ZERO 0. दिस क्वेश्चन कैरीज 50 मार्क्स, सबको 0 मिला है. अब वो कहेंगे साहब लिखा तो बहुत था, नंबर नहीं आते, बहुत बेईमान है. मैं पहले भी कह चुका था, एग्जामिनर इज नॉट अवर रिलेटिव. वो हमारा फादर इन लॉ नहीं है या मदर इन लॉ नहीं है. लेडी भी एग्जामिनर्स हैं कि वो सन इन लॉ की परवाह करेंगे या डॉटर इन लॉ की परवाह. ये कोई नहीं होता है. इफ यू आर राइटिंग इररिलेवेंट और बीटिंग अबाउट द बुश, you are having a chance of securing a 0. It is better not to attempt such question in which you are having some serious doubt. Near answer है तो लिख दीजिए. Otherwise आपने you wasted 7-8 minutes. You devoted 7-8 minutes for a short note or 12 minutes for a 15 marks question, and after writing 2-3 pages you got a 0. So you can get a 0 without writing also. You are saving your time. That time can be devoted to another question. It is a very good technique. There was a student, Pershisti Parekh. I don't know if anyone of you heard her name. She is posted in Ahmedabad these days. Her rank was 22nd, and she got very good marks in geography also. That year the marking was tough. I asked Pershisti how you secured better marks, because there were equally good students here, class fellows. कह लगे सब, there were 3 short notes I was not knowing what is to be written. I skipped those 3 short notes, and skipping 3 short notes means I saved about 20 minutes. Those 20 minutes I devoted to the bigger question and other questions I was good in. I wrote beautifully with neat diagrams and I got very good marks. So there is no good to write and earn a 0. Without writing also you can get a 0. If you don't know the answer, avoid it, because examiners know the right answer. In this case we have to write these 5 laws, not the tricellular model or wind blows from here to there. That is not the answer. So this question, if it is available in the NCERT book, please go through it. Otherwise tomorrow I will start in the morning with this question. Atmospheric circulation, then types of winds will be followed after this topic. Types of winds, we have 4 types of winds. Number 1, permanent winds. The winds which blow in the same direction throughout the year, they are known as permanent winds or planetary winds. Then we have the periodic winds, the winds which blow 6 months from one direction, 6 months from another direction. The typical example of periodic winds is the Indian monsoon. 6 months Indian monsoon blow from sea towards land and 6 months from land towards sea. So this question was asked in the PT examination also, 3 years back. Which of the following, in which of the following there is a complete reversal of winds? The complete reversal of winds is in the monsoon. 6 months from sea to land and 6 months from land. The answer was very obvious, easy question. The second type of winds are periodic. Second type of winds are periodic. One is permanent, second is periodic. But there are some other periodic winds also, like land breeze and sea breeze. In the case of land breeze and sea breeze, the wind changes direction after every 12 hours. Period is there. but in some books it is written as a local wind. Do you know what is a local wind? A wind which blows in some location or locality. But sea breeze and land breeze, they blow throughout the world in the tropical latitudes. The land breeze and sea breeze are the characteristic of the torrid zone, where differential heating is significant, and when they are blowing throughout the world, they cannot be called as local winds. I will show you one very interesting diagram. This was asked in the test also. This is land and this is sea. A student, senior, and being taught by a very important coaching center, he said sea breeze. Sea breeze, in his opinion, the wind which goes towards the sea. He plotted it like this. So you are telling it is wrong and it is wrong. Sea breeze means the wind is coming from sea towards land. The diagram should have been like this. This is a sea breeze. And if the students are not properly guided, they may commit mistake in this type of diagram. And the mistake may be a serious mistake. Serious mistake means blunder. I will show you the blunder. Earlier was also a blunder. One student has shown the sea breeze coming from the sea, entering into the land, coming out of the land. Is it possible? टनल बना के अंदर घुस गई है वो. So I think the teacher has not guided. Try to avoid such mistakes. These mistakes are known as blunders. And if you are committing blunder, you will cut it like this. No chance of securing any marks. You say, I have written 1 page or 2 page, I got very little marks. Not very little marks, you will get a 0. Because you have to prepare your diagram properly. Diagrams are very important. Either give the diagram, correct diagram, or don't give. You will be losing some marks, but you will not be exposed in the eyes of the examiner. Blunder should not be committed. And another point which I want to advise you not to do in the examination, some of you, not girls, boys, they make so many arrows. The more arrows you make, the more time you lose, and the diagram also become clumsy, odd, not attractive. We have to make our answer book attractive, which attract the attention of the examiner. So same thing you can show only with the help of 3-4 arrows. 1, 2, and 3. The cycle is complete. You have saved at least 30 seconds. Even 1 second matters. Because in the end you will try to write something, and invigilator will snatch your answer book. आखिरी पेज फटा हुआ मिलता है कभी, क्योंकि खींचातानी हुई है. एग्जामिनर चाहते, इन्विजिलेटर कहता है कि नहीं, टाइम इज ओवर. लड़का कहते नो नो प्लीज लेट मी अलाउ टू राइट 1 or 2 सेंटेंस. वो सेंटेंस ना पढ़ा जाता है, टेंशन में लिख रहे हैं, उसको पढ़ भी नहीं सकते. So there is no use like this. Try to save your time maximum. Anyway, I will be giving you some very good tips. The topic, tomorrow's topic is equally important, and the topics will be the laws of atmospheric circulation, permanent winds, periodic winds. The third type of winds are local winds, and the fourth are the variable winds. Variable winds, the winds which change their direction after every few hours. The variable winds are cyclones and anticyclones. These are interesting topic. Unfortunately, last year, to the good luck of the students, the tropical and temperate cyclones were asked. In my opinion, that is not important, but I will be teaching in more detail because it may be coming in the GS paper, either tropical cyclone or temperate cyclone, because many a times the frontogenesis has been asked, the polar front theory has also been asked, the origin of the tropical cyclones has also been asked. So all these topics are very interesting. You please take the help of your NCERT book and come prepared to listen me on laws of circulation and the types of winds which blow on the surface. See you tomorrow. This much is sufficient for today. Thank you very much.